আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, দিন রজনী কত অমৃত রস উথলে যায় অনন্ত গগনে। আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে। পান করে রবি শশী অঞ্জলি ভরিয়া, সদা দীপ্ত রহে অক্ষয় জ্যোতি। পান করে রবি শশী অঞ্জলি ভরিয়া, সদা দীপ্ত রহে অক্ষয় জ্যোতি। নিত্য পূর্ণ ধরা জীবনে কিরণে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে, আনন্দধারা বহিছে ভুবনে। স্বার্থ নিমগ্ন কি কারণে বসিয়া আছো কেন আপন মনে স্বার্থ নিমগ্ন কি কারণে চারিদিকে।
So I wanted to introduce you to your two hosts for this evening. They're going to be Arshi and Aryan. Give them a big round of applause.
I'm Aryan.
And I'm Arshi. Welcome to the 13th edition of the Saraswati Puja cultural event. 13th edition is going to be a tremendous performance with a variety of mind-blowing programs.
Our theme today is Rabindranath and his multifaceted talents. When I was young, I personally had learned many Rabindra Sangeet. I hope today you shall walk with me down memory lane and recollect all those childhood memories that you must have spent learning. Throughout the evening, we present to you different aspects of the great talent that was Tagore. His songs, his poems, Western influences, his contribution to nationalism, and of course, his stories. When we talk about Rabindranath, we think first of Rabindra Sangeet. It's an essential part of being a Bengali. Tagore wrote over 2,000 songs and composed the music for them. Nowadays, along with the originals, there are many adaptations and remixes which continue to keep them ever fresh and appealing. What better way to start our program today than with one of the most famous songs, Akash Bhara Shujyatara.
It's a song of wonder and gratitude for being part of this magnificent universe. Through this song, we marvel at the creations of the universe. This song and the next are presented by Bididita and her students. The songs will be followed by a dance by Rohini, Sonakshi, Akriti, and Ravi.
আকাশ ভরা সূর্য তারা বিশ্ব ভরা প্রাণ তাহারি মাঝখানে আমি পেয়েছি মোর স্থান বিষয়ে তাই জাগে আমার গান আকাশ ভরা। অসীম কালে জিহিল্লোলে জোয়ার ভাটায় ভুবন দোলে নারীতে মোর রক্ত ধারায় লেগেছে তার টান বিষয়ে তাই জাগে আমার গান আকাশ ভরা। ঘাসিয়ে ঘাসে পাক ফেলেছি বনের পথে যেতে ফুলের গন্ধে চামক লেগে উঠেছে মোর মেতে জড়িয়ে আছে আনন্দেরে দান বিষয়ে তাই জাগে জাগে আমার গান গান পেতেছি চোখ মেলেছি ধরার বুকে প্রাণ ধরেছি জানার মাঝে অজানারে করেছি সন্ধান বিষয়ে তাই জাগে জাগে আমার গান আকাশ ভরা Yes, Didi.
Yes, we'll sing. Both of us will sing, okay? Yes.
আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় আমার মুক্তি ধুলায় ধুলায় ঘাসে ঘাসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় Nisagamada Saniri sada pamada pagamada Sini sada pa Nisagamada Saniri sada pamada pagamada Nire dada pa Deho moner sudur pare Hariye feli আপনারে দেহ মনের সুদূর পারে হারিয়ে ফেলি আপনারে গানের সুরের আমার মুক্তি ঊর্ধ্বে ভাসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় আমার মুক্তি সর্বজনের মনের মাঝে দুঃখ বিপদ তুচ্ছ করা কঠিন কাজে আমার মুক্তি সর্বজনের মনের মাঝে দুঃখ বিপদ তুচ্ছ করা কঠিন কাজে বিশ্বধাতার যোগ্যশালা আষ্ট হোমের বনে জ্বালা বিশ্বধাতার যোগ্যশালা আষ্ট হোমের বনে জ্বালা জীবন যেন দিয়া হতে মুক্তি আসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি, আলোয় আলোয় আমার মুক্তি, ধুলায় ধুলায় ঘাসে ঘাসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি, আলোয় আলোয় এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি, আলোয় আলোয়।
That was a special performance, and now we move into the Kobi Pranam done by Shushmita and her students. Please enjoy the show.
প্রথম আদি তব শক্তি, আদি পরম জল জ্যোতি তোমারি হে গগনে গগনে, প্রথম আদি তব শক্তি, আদি পরম জল জ্যোতি তোমারি হে গগনে গগনে, প্রথম আদি তব শক্তি। তোমার আদি বাণী বহিছে তব আনন্দ, তোমার আদি বাণী বহিছে তব আনন্দ, জাগিছে নব নব রসে হৃদয় মনে, প্রথম আদি তব শক্তি। তোমার চিদাকাশে ভাতে সূরজ চন্দ্র তারা, প্রাণ তরঙ্গ উঠে পবনে, তোমার চিদাকাশে ভাতে সূরজ চন্দ্র তারা, প্রাণ তরঙ্গ উঠে পবনে, তুমি আদি কবি কবি গুরু তুমি হে, তুমি আদি কবি কবি গুরু তুমি হে, মন্ত্র তোমার মন্ত্রিত সব ভুবনে, প্রথম আদি তব শক্তি, আদি পরম জল জ্যোতি তোমারি হে গগনে গগনে, প্রথম আদি তব শক্তি।
An amazing start to what is going to be a great evening of performances. We are eager to showcase poetry, songs, Western influences on Tagore, his contributions to nationalism, and of course, the grand finale, Kaleidoscope, a compilation of Tagore's stories, thrillingly retold in a novel format. Stick around.
From songs, let's move on to poetry. Rabindranath Tagore, the poet, is how the world first came to know him. He started writing poetry when he was 8 years old, and his first volume of poetry was published when he was just 17. I'm almost 15 years old. So Tagore wrote poems that connected him to nature and the world around him. He was widely acclaimed for his poetry, many of which he himself translated into English. It was largely due to his poetry, especially the collection Gitanjali, which earned him the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. Today we present to you two distinct poems, Damodar Shet and Nirzharer Shopnobhango.
Damodar Shet is an example of a nonsense verse. Nonsense, as literary genre, evolved out of sheer enjoyment of innocently removing imposed rules and rigidity of folklore or sacred text in a novel literary form. Writers use nonsense verse to have fun, to capture the imagination of children and create fantastical worlds. Rabindranath Tagore, in his prolific literary career, dabbled with the nonsense verse at different points in time. Born out of one such brushstroke of the nonsense was Khapchara, or The Odd Ones, a collection of 131 verses of varying lengths written by Tagore through the early 1930s. Young minds of Purva Riviera present to you one of the noted verses from Khapchara, Damodar Shet, recited by my friends Abhigyan, Tanush, Devash, and Amartya. It's a tale of a greedy man who wants everything, from fish to sweets to clothes. What's going to happen to Damodar Shet?
অল্পেতে খুশি হবে দামোদর শেঠ কি
মুরগির মোয়া চাই চাই ভাজা ভেটকি আনবে কটকি জুতো মটকিতে ঘিয়েনো
জলপাইগুড়ি থেকে এনো কই জিওনো চাঁদনিতে পাওয়া যায় বোয়ালের পেট কি
চীনে বাজার থেকে এনো তো করম চা
কাঁকড়ার ডিম চাই চাই যে গরম চা না হয় খরচা হবে মাথা হবে হেটকি
মনে রেখো বড় মাপে করা যায় আয়োজন কোলে বর খাটো নয় 3 মন প্রয়োজন
খোঁজ নিও ঝরিয়াতে জিলিপির রেট কি
থ্যাংক ইউ
After that funny poem, we now move on to another famous poem, Nirzharer Shopnobhango, or the awakening of the stream. Picture the poet standing on the balcony of his house in Free School Street in Kolkata. It's early morning and the dawn is breaking. Tagore looks at the sun's rays breaking through the darkness, and the words well up inside him. The poet feels the warmth of the early morning sun on his face and imagines life as if it is a flow of a stream. Water flows over all obstacles to reach its destination. Is it a call for us to break away from our shackles? Written around the time of the partition of Bengal, this poem clearly brings out the yearning of the spirit of freedom. Chained as we were under the yoke of imperialism, the poem was a wake-up call to break free and create revolution rather than cower in meek acceptance.
It is said that dance is one of the highest forms of worship. We present this immortal poem through a powerful dance performance. This dance is a journey through the poem that celebrates the joy of youth and the spirit of a waterfall to break through the chains that bind. It leaves us with a powerful message to give our all for the well-being of collective humanity. We hope you enter into the spirit of the dance, performed gracefully by Anandita, Paramita, Amrita, and Navya.
আজি প্রভাতে রবির কর কেমনে পশিল প্রাণের পর কেমনে পশিল গুহার আধারে প্রভাত পাখির গান না জানি কেন রে এতদিন পরে জাগিয়া উঠিল প্রাণ জাগিয়া উঠেছে প্রাণ ওরে উথলি উঠেছে বাড়ি ওরে প্রাণের বাসনা প্রাণের আবেগ রুধিয়া রাখিতে নারী থর থর করি কাঁপিছে ভূধর শিলা রাশি রাশি পড়িছে খসে ফুলিয়া ফুলিয়া ফেনিল সলিল গরজে উঠিছে দারুণ রোষে হেথায় হোথায় পাগলের প্রায় ঘুরিয়া ঘুরিয়া মাতিয়া বেড়ায় বাহিরিতে চায় দেখিতে না পায় কোথায় কারার দ্বার কেন রে বিধাতা পাষাণ হেন চারিদিকে তার বাঁধন কেন ভাঙরে হৃদয় ভাঙরে বাঁধন সাথরে আজিকে প্রাণের সাধন লহরীর পরে লহরী তুলিয়া আঘাতের পরে আঘাত কর মাতিয়া যখন উঠেছে পরাণ কিসের আধার কিসের পাষাণ উথলি যখন উঠেছে বাসনা জগতে তখন কিসের ডর আমি ঢালিব করুণা ধারা আমি ভাঙিব পাষাণ কারা আমি জগৎ প্লাবিয়া বেড়াবো গাহিয়া আকুল পাগল পারা কে সেলাইয়া ফুল কুড়াইয়া রামধনু আঁকা পাখা উড়াইয়া রবির কিরণে হাসি ছড়াইয়া দিবরে পরাণ ঢালি শিখর হইতে শিখরে ছুটিব ভূধর হইতে ভূধরে লুটিব হেসে খল খল গে কলকল তালে তালে দিব তালি এত কথা আছে এত গান আছে এত প্রাণ আছে মোর এত সুখ আছে এত স্বাদ আছে প্রাণ হয়ে আছে ভোর কি জানি কি হলো আজি জাগিয়া উঠিল প্রাণ দূর হতে শুনি যেন মহাসাগরের গান ওরে চারিদিকে মোর এ কি কারাগার ঘোর ভাঙ 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 কারা আঘাতে আঘাত কর ওরে আজ কি গান গেয়েছে পাখি এসেছে রবির কর
More dance and more music coming up later, everyone. Let's see if the youngsters who perform later can give these amazing ladies a run for their money. Also, don't forget to head to Chakum Chukum, one of the food stalls up there, for a taste of Kolkata. We would like to thank all of the staff and members of the association for all their help. Without them, none of this would have been possible.
Rabindranath Tagore was an Indian first and foremost, but he was a world citizen as well. He traveled extensively and lived abroad, writing, making friendships, and inspiring people from as far away as Japan and even America. Some of Tagore's work was influenced by Western themes. Growing up in his ancestral home at Jorashako, he was familiar with Western music as his grandfather was a connoisseur of the same. During his stay in Britain, he was exposed to and became familiar with English, Irish, and Scottish music. Classical Western music provided a great source of inspiration to Rabindranath Tagore. Much before fusion music became fashionable, Tagore blended Western music and Eastern inspiration to craft melodies.
Let us listen to a song and enjoy a dance, both of which have a bit of Western influence. The song is presented by Prahalad, Pranshi, Alia, Parth, Ernisha, Shaurya, Deepa, Twarita, Sasha, Arohi Verma, Arohi Bhagat, Shriya, and Shreyas on the keyboard. It is a song inspired by Auld Lang Syne. The words and the tune evoke the nostalgia of days gone past, the friendships, the shared confidences, the way we were.
All acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne. For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne, we'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. And surely you will buy a cup, and surely I buy mine. We'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne, we'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. Have run around the slopes and picked the daisies fine. We've wandered many weary foot since old lang syne. For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne, we'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. And here's the hand, my trusty friend, and here's the hand of thine. We'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne, we'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne, we'll take a couple kindness yet for the sake of old lang syne. We'll take a couple
Our next presentation on the theme of Western influences on Tagore is a dance based on the Western-inspired Rabindra Sangeet, Ami Chini Go Chini, Tomare Ogo Bideshini. This song is set in the backdrop of the British era and portrays the love, affection, and emotional bond between the Britishers and Indian women, despite all the violence and hatred prevalent during that period. The dance is performed by Kashvi, Ahana, Shreya, Siddhi, Aheli, Arushi, Pari, Dhanvi, Ananya, Neela, Advik, Kavya, Samaira, and Arihan.
O maiden of a distant love, O maiden of a distant love, O maiden of a distant love, I know you, you know to me, O maiden of a distant love, I know you, you know to me, O maiden of a distant love. You live afar beyond that sea, O maiden of a distant love. I know you, you know to me, O maiden of a distant love. O maiden of a distant love, I know you, you know to me, O maiden of a distant love. I know you, you know to me, O maiden of a distant love. Unto sky alone, heard your soul I have heard. Have lit yours unto sky alone, heard your soul I have heard. I offer to you my heart, O maiden of a distant land. I have reached a newfound her. At the door I guessed I happened to be, O maiden of a distant land. O maiden of a distant land. O maiden of a distant land. O maiden of a distant love, I know you, you know to me, O maiden of a distant love. O maiden of a distant love, I know you, O maiden of a distant love.
A wonderful performance. But, ladies and gentlemen, our grand finale is still to come. Kaleidoscope is a thrilling journey, told in English, of 6 of Rabindranath Tagore's novels. It's full of color, music, dance, and fashion as you listen to some of his stories.
Let's shift gears and move towards another aspect of Rabindranath Tagore, his contribution to our freedom struggle and building a national consciousness. Tagore was deeply involved in our independence movement, though he was often conflicted about the ways and means of achieving freedom. His writing, poems, songs, and essays about the period all reflected his patriotism. Significantly, he said, "Political freedom does not make us free if our mind is not free." Let us vow today, as we enjoy the next performances, to open up our minds and be fearless in our endeavors. This next song is one by Rabindranath Tagore's most recognizable songs. It is performed by Prahlad, Pranshi, Alia, Parth, Arnisha, Shaurya, Deepa, Tvarita, Sasha, Arohi Verma, Arohi Bhagat, and Shriya. It's a call to all of us. If no one answers your call, walk alone, but do not deviate from the right path. Jodi tor dak shune kyo na ashe. Sing along if you know it. Thank you.
যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে তবে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো রে তবে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি কেউ কথা না কয় ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা কেউ কথা না কয় যদি সবাই থাকে মুখ ফেরায় সবাই করে ভয় যদি সবাই থাকে মুখ ফেরায় সবাই করে ভয় তবে পরাণ খুলে ও তুই মুখ ফুটে তোর মনের কথা একলা বলো রে ও তুই মুখ ফুটে তোর মনের কথা একলা বলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি সবাই ফিরে যায় ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা সবাই ফিরে যায় যদি গহন পথে যাবার কালে কেউ ফিরে না যায় যদি গহন পথে যাবার কালে কেউ ফিরে না যায় তবে পথের কাঁটা তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে ও তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি আলো না ধরে ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা আলো না ধরে যদি ঝড় বাদলে আধা রাতে দুয়ার দেয় ঘরে যদি ঝড় বাদলে আধা রাতে দুয়ার দেয় ঘরে তবে বজরা নলে আপন বুকের পাঁচর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা চলো রে আপন বুকের পাঁচর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে তবে একলা চলো একলা চলো একলা
Song of India. That's our next performance. When dawn broke on the 15th of August, 1947, our country united under the first stanza of Bharat Bhagya Vidhata. Rabindranath Tagore composed this song as a hymn to the Almighty, the director of India's destiny, in 1911. While the first stanza was adopted as our national anthem in 1950, the other stanzas of the poem are equally powerful. They call to the followers of all faiths, all sides of our country, to unite under the blessings of Bharat Bhagya Vidhata, our nation's eternal guide throughout time. Today we bring to you these other stanzas of Bharat Bhagya Vidhata. We hope you follow along the powerful words and they give you goosebumps, as they did when I heard them for the first time. This is not our national anthem, and hence it does not require for us to stand up. And who better to bring these forgotten stanzas to life than young people? My friends Sharanya, Vismaya, Khushi, and Ashi performed this tribute to our country through a mesmerizing dance performance.
অতন অভ্যুদয় বন্ধুর পন্থা যুগ যুগ ধাবিত যাত্রী হে চির সারথি তব রথ চক্রে মুখরিত পথ দিন রাত্রি
দারুণ বিপ্লব মাঝে তব শঙ্খ ধ্বনি বাজে সংকট দুঃখ ত্রাতা
জনগণ পথ পরিচায়ক জয় হে ভারত ভাগ্য বিধাতা
জয় হে জয় হে জয় হে জয় 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 হে
ঘোর তিমির ঘন নিবিড় নিশীথে পীড়িত মূর্ছিত দেশে জাগ্রত ছিল তব অবিচল মঙ্গল নত নয়নে অনিমেষে
দুঃস্বপ্নে আতঙ্কে রক্ষা করিলে অঙ্কে
স্নেহময়ী তুমি মাতা জনগণ দুঃখ ত্রায়ক জয় হে ভারত ভাগ্য বিধাতা
জয়
Okay, guys, it's now time for a grand finale, Kaleidoscope. I would request you to be patient though, because we have to set up the stage for this finale. And another disclaimer, all those who want to use the ATM at the back of the stage, please, you may use it now. We request you to avoid using it at the time of the show. Thank you. Oh, hello? Hello, hello.
মাইক দিয়েছে দেখ আমার একটা ইয়েস সাইজের বললাম না এখানে চেঁচাবো এটা অন আছে
Testing.
হচ্ছে না
And we'll start with our grand finale.
Okay, guys, it's now time for Kaleidoscope, the myriad colors of Tagore's stories. Tagore wrote powerful stories which continue to resonate even today. As the final piece of our presentation on Tagore, we bring you Kaleidoscope, 6 of Tagore's stories, woven together through music, dance, and sparkling costumes. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
बादाम ले लो, पिस्ता ले लो, मेवा ले लो, बादाम पिस्ता किशमिश है।
काबुली वाला, ओ काबुली वाला, काबुली वाला, ओ काबुली वाला।
Love. Love, in all its forms, was one of Tagore's abiding themes. This is best exemplified in our first story of today, Kabuliwala. Kabuliwala is an Afghan dry fruit seller who's forced to journey away from far away Afghanistan in search of his livelihood. When he comes to Kolkata, he meets Minnie, the young daughter of one of his customers. A firm friendship soon develops between the unlikely pair. Minnie reminds Kabuliwala of his young daughter who he left behind in Kabul. He carries next to his heart an imprint of her hand in charcoal. Kabuliwala captured the hearts of all its readers because of its universal theme, the love of a father for his daughter. Tagore beautifully captured the interaction between the two unlikely friends. Unfortunately, Kabuliwala gets into a fight with one of his customers and is sent to jail for many years. When he is released, he immediately proceeds to Minnie's house with his customary gift of nuts and dry fruits. It is Minnie's wedding day. She doesn't recognize her old friend. Kabuliwala doesn't recognize Minnie in the shy bride before him. And then it strikes him. What about his own daughter that he left behind in Kabul? Will he recognize her when he goes back home? And will she be able to recognize her own father? It's a heart-rending tale, and it speaks to the plight of every migrant who's away from home, away from family, away from love. From far away Afghanistan, we now come closer home. Our next story is Noshto Nir, or The Broken Home, which introduced the immortal character of Charulata.
ঘরেতে ভ্রমর এলো গুনগুনিয়ে, ঘরেতে ভ্রমর এলো গুনগুনিয়ে, আমারে কার কথা সে যায় শুনিয়ে, ঘরেতে ভ্রমর এলো গুনগুনিয়ে।
चारू चारू
This is Charulata. Charulata was a fascinating study in contrasts. She was a romantic, an idealist, but she was also pragmatic and fairly traditional at heart. Charulata is married and lives in a mansion with her industrialist husband, Bhupati. Bhupati runs a printing press. Intent on professional success, Bhupati sometimes ignores his young and beautiful wife. We are not sure if Charulata is happy in her marriage, but it is a marriage, and they have built a home together. Noshto Neer, or the broken home, is a love triangle. Charu and Bhupati's lives are disrupted by the entry of Bhupati's young cousin, Amol. Amol and Charu share a love for music and poetry, and this brings them closer and closer. Amol is attracted by the beautiful and lively-minded Charulata. Essentially ignored by her husband, Charulata finds herself falling in love with Amol. Attracted as they are to each other, Charu and Amol start to wonder, what is the future of their relationship? Will they have a happily ever after? And what of Charu's husband, Bhupati? Let's find out through some pictures. Chokher Bali. Chokher Bali is one of Rabindranath Tagore's famous works because it was popularized through films. It's a layered tale of love, lust, and power, and the relationships between men and women. It was a forward-thinking novel for its time, and in fact was criticized by many because it depicted illicit love, and it gave legitimacy to the desires of women. Let's see the story from a somewhat different perspective, with two colors, red and white. Red is the color of power, passion, and privilege. Ashalata, who is wearing red, is a newly married woman. She has discovered the power of her sensuality and is delighting in her status as the adored wife of her husband, Mohendro. White is the color of sacrifice and barrenness. In the early 20th century, a woman wearing white could be wearing a cloak of invisibility. This is Binodini, a widow, who lives as a dependent in Mohendro's household. Binodini and Ashalata soon become firm friends, each other's Chokher Bali. But Binodini is jealous of Ashalata's marriage status. Binodini is still young, but society has decreed that she must suppress all her desires and slowly fade away. The center point of the story is the growing attraction that Mohendro starts to feel for the young and desirable widow. Binodini sets out to allure Mohendro and he quickly succumbs to her charms. This has many consequences for all their lives, but Binodini savors her victory over Ashalata and over society in general when Mohendro elopes with her, leaving his young wife shattered. Chokher Bali does not end here. Binodini soon realizes that her actions have many consequences and decides to live the rest of her life as a recluse in the service of others. Mohendro goes back to Ashalata and is accepted by his wife. Chokher Bali is such a masterpiece because it depicted the moral conflict of its protagonists. Tagore took inspiration for most of his characters from people around him. In turn, through his writings, he influenced the society of the day. Tagore was part of a larger collective of Bengali intellectuals, writers, poets, philosophers, artists who formed what came to be known as the Bengali Renaissance. Let's look at what the Bengali Renaissance was and how it influenced our society and our nation. was not simply a man of the cities. He had a deep connection with rural Bengal, and he set many of his stories in villages. He perfectly portrayed the passions that run deep within the people of the soil. He was also a master of brevity, writing short stories that leave a lasting impact. Our next story is Shasti, or The Punishment. Set in a village and a few pages long, its characters will stay with you long after the book is closed. This is Dukhi, a farmer. He looks very tired. He's been toiling hard in the fields all day. He's probably quite hungry too. And he calls to his wife Radha to come and give him some food. Radha is busy with her household chores, and she asks Dukhi to wait a while. This angers Dukhi. In a fit of rage, Dukhi strikes Radha. Oh no. It looks like Dukhi has killed Radha. Dukhi's brother Chidam and his wife Chandora rush in, hearing the commotion. Chidam is desperately thinking of a way to save his brother from the police. Looks like Chidam has an idea. Chidam goes to Chandora and asks his wife to take the blame for his brother's crime. After all, the villagers have told him, if you lose a wife, you can get another. But if you lose a brother, her husband asking her to take the blame for his brother's death, Chandora goes to prison. Later, when Chidam goes to try to free her, she refuses to retract her statement and is hanged for a crime she did not commit. We are left wondering who received the punishment. Baire, or The Home and the World, is one of Tagore's most complex and powerful novels. It takes place in the backdrop of nationalism and the partition of Bengal. The partition created great outrage and anger amongst all sections of the population. At this time, Swadeshi has started to become a movement, and Vande Mataram is the rallying cry. In the background, though, communal tensions have started to simmer. Many, especially the rural poor, feel that the elite do not understand their problems. Khore Baire is written as a series of first-person accounts. It starts and ends with Bimola's story. Bimola is a middle-class housewife, happy in the Ondor Mahal, or the world of the home. Nikhilesh, her husband, is a zamindar, an elite, but an idealist at heart. Very progressive in his thinking, Nikhilesh wants Bimola to step out of her world into his. Sandeep, Nikhilesh's political activist friend, a firebrand nationalist, his brand of aggression with its ideals and power soon attracts Bimola. Bimola finds herself swept off her feet by Sandeep's words, eloquence, and audaciousness. As Bimola's attraction for the man and his ideals grow, she distances herself from her husband, Nikhilesh. This love triangle takes place in the background of the Swadeshi movement. Sandeep's aggressive political ways soon incites violence. Sandeep spreads the idea of burning foreign goods in Nikhilesh's zamindari estate. He proposes that all those who oppose him should be attacked. Nikhilesh is against all forms of violence. He feels a deep responsibility towards his dependents. Sandeep does not listen to Nikhilesh and goes ahead with his divisive political agenda. This creates anger within the poor who are dependent on the sale of these goods for their livelihood. And soon a riot erupts. At this critical juncture, with violence erupting all around, Sandeep shows himself to be a coward. He runs away, unwilling to face the consequences of his actions. Quiet and gentlemanly Nikhilesh shows himself to be the true hero, sacrificing his life to save his family and his dependents. Bimola is left alone. She stepped out of her world into Nikhilesh's. But which world will she live in now? Through his writings, Tagore conveyed a deep distaste for violence. He was against extremism at any end of the political spectrum. For him, unity and peace were key. His character spoke with his voice, and he was a master at conveying different sides of the story. Our next and last story is that of Gora, And this perfectly illustrates this particular aspect of Tagore. We meet Gora at a particularly critical juncture of his life when he is at a crossroads.
এই খাঁচার ভিতর অচিন পাখি কমলে ভেসে যায় পাখির পায় কমলে আসে যায় খাঁচার ভিতর অচিন পাখি কমলে আসে যায়
What is that man singing? I don't quite understand it, but it moves me. I wonder why this is so. I am Gora. People say I'm fortunate. I have a loving mother and father, even though I am adopted. I come from an upper class, wealthy family. I'm in love with a beautiful young woman who is also spirited and independent. But I am not happy. I am deeply conflicted. Today, I had a fight with my friend Binoy. He wants to marry Lolita. But how can that be right? Lolita is a follower of another belief. Binoy says, love is purer than beliefs created centuries ago. He says, what is the point of faith if it cannot create love and togetherness but divides us? No, I cannot accept that love transcends faith. Our beliefs should be pure and unchanging. I follow the purest form of my faith to protect it, to protect myself, to protect us, my country, from the British who are destroying our culture. Preserving the one true faith is how we will create a unified Bharatvarsha. I used to think like that till yesterday, but today I'm not so sure. I went to Chor Ghoshpur. It's a village where the farmers have revolted against the British. The British wanted the farmers to cultivate indigo and sell it at a very low price. In the revolt, many men died and many children were orphaned. One of these orphans was adopted by a farmer of a different faith. Does his action not say more about humanity than any books? But do you think that is right? Should faiths intermingle? Or should we, the youth of India, stand up for that one true faith so that it is not diluted by other influences? But what if there is no one true faith? I see good practices and bad practices amongst everyone. we cannot question our faith, then we are questioning the very fundamentals of our existence. Maybe it's time to ask these questions. What is my faith? What are my beliefs? Are they so confining that it cannot create other ideas? No, no, no. We must create the ideal Bharatvarsh. Bharatvarsh as it existed in its purest form. Define it. Put a boundary around it. And anyone who does not fit into it is not Bharatvarshia. I want to create the ideal Bharatvarsha too. But Bharatvarsha as it exists today is not a historic idea that is no longer relevant. I want to be part of a Bharatvarsha that glories in its diversity, that is like a mother that loves all her children equally. Who will help me? Who will help me?
তারে ধরতে পারলে মনো বেরি ধরতে পারলে মনো বেরি দিতাম পাখির পায় কেমনে আসে যায়
That song again. What does it mean?
He is singing, the unknown bird that flies in and out of the cage. I wish I could bind it with love. But love has no bounds or boundaries.
Who are you?
I am Bharat.
You are the essence of Bharatvarsha.
I am not an essence or an idea. I am real. I am. I am you. I am you. I am you. I am in every man, woman, and child who lives in this land.
Are they of the right faith and the right color, the right background? How do you know they are the right people to form Bharatvarsha?
Because Bharatvarsha is all embracing. Listen to me, Gora, and understand what Bharatvarsha really is. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sands of dead habit.
পৌরুষেরই করেনি শতধা নিত্য জেথা সর্বকর্ম চিন্তা তুমি আনন্দের নেতা.
Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thoughts and action.
নিজ হস্তে নির্দয় আঘাত করি পিত ভারতের সেই স্বর্গে করো জাগরিত.
Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake, awake.
এই নয়নে প্রভু ঢালো
সুরে সুরে বাঁশি পরে তুমি আরো 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 দাও তান
মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ প্রাণ ভরিয়ে তৃষা হরিয়ে মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ
আরো বেদনা প্রভু দাও মোরে আরো চেতনা দারো ছোটায় বাধা টোটায় মোরে করো ত্রাণ মোরে করো প্রাণ আরো বেদনা প্রভু দাও মোরে আরো চেতনা দারো ছোটায় বাধা টোটায় মোরে করো ত্রাণ মোরে করো ত্রাণ
আরো প্রেমে মোর আমি ডুবে যাক প্রেমে আরো প্রেমে
মোর আমি ডুবে যাক প্রেমে
সুধা ধারে আপনারে তুমি আরো 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 করো দান মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ
প্রাণ ভরিয়ে তৃষা হরিয়ে মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ
তবু ভুবনে
মোরে আরো 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 দাও
স্থান মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ প্রাণ ভরিয়ে তৃষা হরিয়ে মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ প্রাণ ভরিয়ে তৃষা হরিয়ে মোরে আরো 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 দাও প্রাণ
That was Kaleidoscope and our entire program, a very humble effort to bring you some of Rabindranath Tagore's works. Let's meet the star cast. Please stick around for just a minute more because they would love to hear your applause. Can I have the cast here, please? It was a big effort. Lot of time and effort put in not only by people glamorously dressed up on stage, but we had some amazing background support. So Indranil, Ishita, they're in the audience. Take a bow. And of course, everyone here, Paromita, I'm just calling out the back of the stage people because they shouldn't feel left out. Lots and lots of effort which has gone in. Overall, this is the end of our program. We want to thank some absent friends. Shukanto, who moved away to Mumbai, but helped us set this entire evening up. So big shout out to him. Suresh, who is helping us capture some beautiful images, I hope. Yes, I hope they're beautiful. Right, and thank you so much. So the rest of the program, all the dances and the songs, let's have a big round of applause for them. For our two young first-time hosts, Aryan and Arshi. Round of applause for them. Did I miss out anyone? I hope everybody feels acknowledged. But most of all, thank you to you, our audience, because without an audience, there is absolutely no performance. Thank you, good night, and see you all next year.
তুমি কেমন করে গান করো হে গুণী আমি অবাক হয়ে শুনি কেবল শুনি শালবুনি তুমি কেমন করে গান করো হে গুনি আমি অবাক হয়ে শুনি কেবল শুনি